Do you know the story of Pupa, the haunted Italian doll that moved across America and carried the restless soul of a little girl trapped within its porcelain smile? It's not just another ghost tale whispered in candlelight, it's a true nightmare that collectors fear to speak of, a legend born from love, grief, and death.
In 1920s Italy, Pupa was crafted with exquisite care. A handmade porcelain doll with soft human-like hair and eyes that seemed almost alive. She was given to a little girl who adored her beyond words. But when the girl tragically died of pneumonia, her family
After the girl's funeral, the parents placed Pupa beside her coffin, but when they returned days later, the doll was gone. Rumor spread that it had been seen sitting on the girl's old chair, staring at her photograph, as if waiting for her to come home.
Years passed. The family fled Italy for America, bringing Pupa with them, sealed in a glass case. But at night, they'd hear the faint tapping, tick, 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 as if tiny fingers were knocking from the inside. When the grandfather died, they found a note in his trembling handwriting. "Pupa is alive. She speaks to me. She wants freedom." From that day forward, no one dared to stay near the glass case after sunset. Visitors began reporting strange whispers. "Let me out," it said. The sound came from Pupa's display case. And sometimes, if you stared long enough, her expression would change, from sadness to rage. Collectors begged to buy her, but each new owner reported nightmares. The same dream of a child trapped behind glass, screaming, "My name is Pupa," before their lights went out. One collector, a woman from Boston, recorded the doll moving its hand overnight. The video showed Pupa shifting slightly toward the camera, her porcelain eyes reflecting the woman's terrified face. Experts examined the footage and declared it fake. But when they visited the doll, their devices malfunctioned. Batteries drained, lights flickered, and one investigator fainted, claiming he heard a child's voice calling his name. In 1990, Pupa was donated to a private museum in Florida. The curator locked her behind bulletproof glass, but even then, staff swore they saw her reflection, blinking back at them.
Soon, the museum staff noticed something horrifying. Each morning, the doll's position changed slightly. Her arm lifted, her head tilted, her hair brushed differently. They set up cameras, but one night, a guard heard faint humming, a lullaby. It came from Pupa's direction. He followed the sound, trembling, until he saw her lips moving ever so slightly.
When the guard tried to record the sound, his phone screen cracked. A child's laugh echoed through the hallway, and on the footage, for a single frame, the doll's glass case appeared empty.
After that night, the guard quit, leaving behind only his uniform and a note. "She followed me home. She won't stop singing." His neighbors later claimed they heard humming through the walls.
The museum owner decided to consult a paranormal expert. The psychic refused to touch the case but said she sensed a lonely spirit of a child, bound by sorrow and rage. When she spoke the name Pupa, the lights...
During a thunderstorm, lightning struck near the museum, cutting the power. When electricity returned, the glass of Pupa's display case was covered in tiny handprints from the inside.
A new intern tried to clean the glass the next morning. She screamed when she realized the prints were underneath the surface, impossible to wipe away. At night, security cameras caught shadows circling the doll's case. Small, child-sized figures moving fast and vanishing when the lights flickered. When researchers analyzed the footage frame by frame, they found something chilling. One of the shadows looked exactly like the girl who once owned Pupa, wearing the same dress from 19... The museum decided to close Pupa's room to the public, but curious visitors still sneaked in. One captured a video of the doll's head, turning toward them and her lips whispering.
After that, the museum sealed Pupa behind reinforced glass with motion alarms. Yet each morning, the sensors showed movement recorded between 2 and 4 a.m. A paranormal team arrived, eager to test the legend. They placed EVP recorders beside the case. Hours later, playback revealed a child's whisper, "I miss my mama." One member dared to touch the glass and immediately screamed, clutching her hand. Frostbite burns appeared across her palm, even though the air was warm. She claimed she saw a flash of the little girl's face reflected in her own eyes. A face twisted in pain, mouthing silent words, "Help me."
Terrified, the team left their equipment behind. The next morning, every battery was dead, and one recorder was missing. Days later, it appeared inside the case, with a new voice recorded on it saying, "Thank you." Staff members began quitting one after another. They said the doll's eyes followed them, and sometimes her reflection appeared in other rooms, even when she wasn't there.
The curator brought in a priest for an exorcism. As he began to pray, his voice faltered. Pupa's eyes rolled upward, and the glass cracked without being touched.
Suddenly, the room turned freezing cold. The priest's breath fogged as he shouted Latin prayers. The doll's mouth opened wide, releasing a faint, childlike scream that echoed through the hall.
The priest collapsed. Later, he told reporters he felt something climb inside his chest during the ritual. He left town the next day and was never seen again. After the failed exorcism, the museum covered the glass with a black cloth. But even through the fabric, people swore they could see her silhouette shifting underneath.
When the curator tried to relocate her, the moving crew refused to touch the case. One worker said the doll blinked, and he quit instantly, leaving his tools behind.
Weeks later, a power outage hit the museum again. The alarms went silent. When power returned, the glass was shattered, and Pupa was gone. Police were called, but there was no sign of forced entry. Only a single small footprint, bare, child-sized, was found near the exit door.
That night, the museum's CCTV captured something moving outside the building. A small figure walking down the empty street, holding what looked like a porcelain head. For months, people reported seeing the same doll appear in different towns, inside toy shop windows, bus stops, even old libraries, always with a faint child's laugh echoing after midnight. Eventually, a collector from Seattle claimed he received a package with no return address. Inside, Pupa, staring up from the box, with a small note, "She's lonely." He tried locking her in a closet, but each morning she'd be sitting on the bed, facing him. He finally contacted the museum, only to discover they never sent her.
Days later, neighbors found his house empty. The only thing left was a recording on his phone. Soft breathing, a girl whispering, "Thank you for setting me free." Now, no one knows where Pupa truly is. Some say she moves from collector to collector, searching for someone to love her. Others believe she's still looking for the girl she lost.
So if you ever visit a small antique shop and see a porcelain doll with sad blue eyes staring through the glass, remember the story. Don't blink. Don't touch her. Because if you do, you might just hear a soft whisper saying, "My name is Pupa."